Hey y'all, welcome to Fearless Friday. I pray you guys have had an amazing week. Here we are again at Oh yeah, here we are again at Friday. Oh my goodness, these weeks are going fast. These months is going fast. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that we are nearing the end of the year. So many great things have happened this year, and I'm just excited that this was a successful and productive year for me. I pray that this was a successful and productive year from you. I pray that you can look back over this year and see that you were productive and not just busy. Because guess what, you guys? Sometimes we could be busy but not being productive. We're busy doing stuff, but we're not producing anything. And if you have looked back over your life, even though we're not in December, and you look and it seems like, man, I've been busy but not productive, guess what? I am a life coach and I can get you right. Okay. You need a life coach. You need somebody to hold you accountable. You need somebody to even just walk you into the new year coming up. You need someone to help you with your goals. I am your girl. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. We can have a consultation and then we can go from there. So I'm excited, like once again, for you guys joining me. I can't wait to get into this topic on today. Oh my goodness. I am going to be talking about intentional living intentionally, living in line on the way to destiny, to your purpose, living a life that is pushing you closer to your destiny and not away from your destiny. So living life intentional, being intentional about your life. Sometimes, you guys, we can be on autopilot. We can just be kind of just allowing life to happen to us. We're not really participating or being active in our own life. We're just allowing life to happen to us. But do you not know that you can be an active participant in your life? You do not just have to let your life just happen. You can literally be an active participant in your life. Right? God has called us all to a purpose, and there is a plan for our lives. And He wants us to fulfill that purpose, and He wants to fulfill that purpose in us. But guess what? He's not going to make us. So we have to decide within ourselves that I am going to be intentional about my life. I am going to get the things done that I need to get done. I am going to focus on the things I need to focus on. I am going to produce. I am going to do what God has called me to do. And so that's how we have to begin to look at our lives, look, you guys, not just allowing things to happen to us. Be active, proactive in your life. I made a post earlier this week. I said, a lot of us have always shown up for other people, but we do not show up for ourselves. Hey, Maya, I want to remind you guys, when you come in, hit the like button for me. But I made a post this week and I said, we a lot of us, we show up for other people, but we don't show up for ourselves. And it's time to show up for ourselves. Do you not know that showing up for yourself does not make you it does not make you selfish. It makes you self-aware. When I can do what I need to do for myself, it makes me self-aware. Like, I want you to look at it this way. How can I be the best mother I can be if I'm not taking care of for me, right? And you may say, well, I'm not a mother, but let me put it to you like this. How can you pour from an empty cup? If your cup is empty, how can you pour into somebody else? Exactly. You can't. So you have to be mindful of, what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing as far so that you can grow? What are you doing so that you can produce? What are you doing so that you can look back a year from now and be like, man, I've grown. I've done this. I've done that. God has really been working with me. I've been walking with God. Transformation has been happening in my life. Can you, what are you doing so next year, this time, you won't be the same? Because if you're not being intentional about your life, if you're not being intentional about the things of you, let me tell you, next year, this time, will be another year, but you will be in the same situation and in the same space. I truly believe that we have to get to a place where, no, it can no longer go any further this way. I desire change. I want change. I'm here for change. And Lord, no matter what you have to do to get me to change, do it. So I'm talking about living life intentionally, right? Because that's when we experience growth, you guys, when we're living life intentionally, when we're being intentional about our lives. But if you looked at my flyer, I said, there are things that we have to do in order to live a life intentionally. And that is my goal of this Fearless Friday on today, is to give you some nuggets, to give you some tips to help you start living life intentionally, or maybe even tune up what you have been doing, right? Because like I said earlier in this video, a lot of us are busy, but we're not productive. We're busy doing a lot of stuff, but we're not being productive. This is my favorite phrase to say, Janila. This is my favorite phrase to say, Maya. This is my favorite phrase to say, Tanisha. My favorite phrase is it a good thing or is it a God thing? Because you could be doing a good thing, but it's not a God thing. And if it's not a God thing, then that means God's hand is not upon that. And the blessing is not going to come from that because it's a good thing. Yes, it's a good thing. It may not be sin. It may not be that. It's a good thing, but is it a God thing? Is it leading you to your purpose? Is it leading you to destiny? Or is this something that you're just doing and it's just taking time, but it really is not building or in line with who God has called you to be? I just want you to think about that on today. I have in my notes that growth is about consistency over intensity. Oh, Jesus. That is power, y'all. Growth is about consistency over intensity. Because sometimes we are being attentive, we are going hard for something that, like I said earlier, God hasn't even called us to do. That isn't even part of the plan. That isn't even a part of our purpose or what God, where God is leading us, but we going hard after it, right? So that's intensity. When you're intensity, when you're going hard, you're going hard after something. But consistency is better than being intensity, right? I need to be consistent in this thing. I need to be consistent in these things, because the more I am consistent in this thing, then I will see the fruit of it, right? And you may say, well, it's taken along, but let me tell you, you remain consistent, eventually results will come forth. If it's a God thing, not a good thing, if you remain consistent, it will produce fruit. Oh my goodness. Do you not know a lot of times God is trying to teach us how to wait on him? So it's not that it's not already done, because guess what? It's already been finished. It was already written in the book about your life. It is already done. But what it is that God is teaching us how to wait on him. So, and he's teaching us, he's stretching our faith. There's a work that is happening in the meantime of seeing the results of us, of toiling, seeing the results of us pressing in, seeing the results of doing that thing consistently day after day, showing up when nobody else showing up when there is no support, showing up to sell your items and nobody buys nothing. You're being consistent. I had to learn that this weekend. I did a vendor show and I had to remind myself, it doesn't matter who came to my table and who didn't come to my table, because I showed up. That was me being consistent. Oh my goodness. That was being me consistent about the vision that God has given me. Oh my goodness. If you don't take anything away from this Fearless Friday, take that away. Being consistent about what God has told you to do, whether people show up or not. What did God tell you to do? Where did God tell you to go? What did God tell you to build? See, it's all about being in that consistent. It's about being in that obedience, and it's about showing up. So no matter who didn't come to my table, I showed up. Woo, Jesus. I remain consistent. I showed up for myself. Oh my goodness. I showed up. I didn't let the crowd, I didn't let not having a crowd keep me at the house. I showed up. We have to learn in this season, you guys, to show up for ourselves. Sometimes we're just showing up for the people. Is people going to be there? I'll show up if people's going to be there. But you have to learn, oh my goodness, let me tell you, because I learned this a long time ago. You have to learn to remain faithful when there is no audience. Oh my goodness, I got to let that sit for a minute. Oh, Jesus. You got to learn to remain faithful when there is no audience. If it takes an audience for you to remain faithful, if it takes an audience for you to remain consistent, if it takes an audience for you to get up and do what God has called you to do, your heart is in the wrong place. You got to know that I'm doing this because I want to please the Father. I'm doing this out of obedience to the Father. So it don't matter who shows up or don't show up. I showed up. Do you not know how many times I used to put together lessons to teach a Sunday school, and there were times I showed up and nobody else showed up? And I remember God dealt with me. He said, it's not about them, it's about you. That you study during the week, you put the lesson together. Yes, it bothers your heart or your spirit when you show up and nobody else showed up, and you know you studied, you did these things. He said, but in the end of the day, you obeyed me. Yes, because I didn't say, well, I don't even know why I'm doing this because nobody gonna show up anyway. No, I studied, wrote those notes, I prepared like I'm gonna speak before 10,000 people, and I showed up and nobody showed up. I got a folder full of notes and nobody showed up. And guess what? I did it again the next week. I did it again the week after that. Why? Because I remained consistent in what God was telling me to do. What was God teaching me? To remain consistent without a crowd. He was teaching me how to remain consistent. He was teaching me how to remain in obedience to him, no matter the crowd, the people. But guess what, you guys? I did have an audience, and that was Jesus. Jesus was my audience. I had an audience of one. I had an audience of one. So you have to value consistency over intensity. And once again, I'm talking about living life intentionally, living this life intentionally. You have to value being consistent over being over the intensity of a thing, but being consistent. I'm going to be consistent in this. Find that one thing, you guys. I challenge you on today. To pick that one thing to be consistent for the rest of this year. And I want you to come back and tell me at the beginning of the year, how did it go? Even if you have to send me an email, send me a text. You want me to hold you accountable to it? If you send me an email, send me, put a request in my page, go on my Facebook, wherever you can find me at, right? Send me what you go decide in your heart that you're going to remain consistent for just the rest of this year. For the rest of this year, how many days is left in this year? It has to be about 60 some days, right? Left in this year. Make one thing that you gonna promise that you going to be consistent for the next 60 something days, and watch you have a result come first. If you are consistent, I mean every day doing it. I mean consistent. No, not missing it, but being consistent. And I want you to tell me how that go. I want you to know that when you're living life intentionally, the tools you need to live this life intentionally, you have to make small daily choices. I want you to understand that small daily choices compound over time. Small daily choices, oh my goodness, over time, they build up. So small daily choices every day builds up. Oh my goodness. You got something small. It may be something small you do every day for the next 60 some days, and watch. Oh my goodness. Watch what it looks like. Watch what it looks like at the end if you remain consistent. So we have to value, and we have to know, and just within ourselves, that small daily choices matter. If I remain consistent and make small daily choices, that has to do with God's will for my life. Not just choices, just making them because you want to, but I mean choices that line up with the purpose and the plan for your life. I'm telling you, you will see a result. Yes. And I want to encourage you to have grace in the process. You're going to hear me say this a lot. You need to have grace for yourself in the process. You have to have grace for yourself. So let me tell you, one day you might mess up, but I'm going to encourage you, get up the next day and continue going forward. Continue to go forward so that you have more days that you did than you didn't. So give yourself grace in the process. Just know process, a lot of times it's messy, but it's meaningful. Oh, Jesus. Process can be messy. Have you ever seen some things cooked in its raw state and it looks nasty? But when it comes to when they bake it or whatever, that they cook it and you see it, oh my goodness, I would have never known. See, that's why, and when I think of that, you guys, when I think of how we eat, let's just say meat, right? Let's say chicken. I don't want to watch the process of them going to get the chicken, taking the chicken in, doing whatever they got to do to the chicken for it to end up in the store for me to be able to cook it. I don't want to see that process. Why? Because I know it's messy. I know that process is messy. And if I was to see that process, I probably wouldn't even eat chicken. If I was to see the process of certain things they do before it hits my table, I probably would not eat it. So let's bring it home to ourselves. A lot of the stuff we gonna go through gonna look messy. Oh my goodness. It's gonna look messy, feel messy, but guess what? It's meaningful. The process ain't always cute. The process don't always look cute. Oh my goodness. When God has to deliver you, when God has to set you free from the things that have held you bound, it doesn't look pretty, but it's meaningful. Oh my goodness. Coming through, going through doesn't look pretty, but on the other side, when it comes out, beautiful. Like Job says, though they slay me, he says, though he slay me, I shall come forth as pure gold. Guess what? The slaying does not look good. The fire, inside the fire does not look good, but on the other side, oh my goodness. But on the other side of this thing, it comes forth as pure gold. And that's what we have to understand. The process gonna look messy, gonna feel uncomfortable, but it's meaningful. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, y'all. So, living life intentionally, being consistent over intensity. How do I do that, Sammy? How do I do? Give me some nuggets. Give me some more nuggets of how can I execute, apply what you're giving us here on today. Number one, use weekly reflections. Reflection questions. Have some questions that you reflect on. You've heard me say this before. Reflection, you guys, you got to learn to restart reflecting. With my coaching group, I have a journal that I tell them to write on, and I made that journal so that they can reflect at the end of the week, not in the middle. But after your week, and you're reflecting over the week. I'm looking over my week. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to reflect over your week. I'm telling you, this is a necessary tool. And I keep giving it to you guys. I'm telling you, if you apply this to your life, you will still see growth taking forth. I don't just tell you how to do things just to do it. Trust me, I reflect. Learn to reflect over your life. So I'm going to give you some reflection questions. Some things when you're reflecting over your week. Because we're living life intentionally. We're living life headed to destiny. We're living life on purpose. We're living life with purpose, on purpose, right? We're being intentional about our lives. We're not just allowing life to happen to us, but we're being active in our lives. The number one thing when you are reflecting is what went well this week. What went well this week? When you're reflecting over your week, what went well this week? Number two, where did I drift from my intentions? Did I drift this week? And if so, where did I drift from? Because I said I was going to be intentional this week. And I've made out a week plan. And these are things I need to take care of, right? Because they're part of my destiny. God's been telling me to get these things together. And I can't go into the new year with these same things undone, never done. I have to get myself together. So where did I drift from my intentions this week, you guys? Because it happens. Where did I drift off at? Where did I drift off? I said I was going to do this, but I went and did that. Okay, where did I drift? So now I'm reflecting and thinking on those things. So now next week, I know, okay, I can't let that happen this week. Number three, what support do I need to realign? What support do I need to realign? Where do I need to realign at? Where did I get out of alignment at? How did I miss it this week? What did I do that I didn't do what I was supposed to do? There we go. What did I allow to steal my attention on this week? So therefore, I didn't do the things I was supposed to do, right? I was busy this week, but I wasn't productive this week. So how do I get better for next week? See, as you reflect, then you know what you can do the next week to do better than you did the previous week. That's why reflection is so necessary. Oh my goodness. So then I'm like, okay. So now we know the questions we need to ask. And so this is something that was wrote down, guys. It says we have to replace the word discipline with devotion. Mm. Replace the discipline with devotion. And I know I say discipline a lot, but this even made me think something different. We have to start replacing discipline with devotion. So stop saying discipline, but say devotion. I'm devoted to this. It says it reframes habits as acts of love and alignment, not punishment. So when I start doing things as devotion, I'm devoted to that. I'm setting my time to that. As if discipline, it makes us look at it different. I'm devoting myself to this. Why? Because I want to grow from this. I love this. I love God, where God is taking me. I love the work God is doing to me. So now I need to be devoted to the strategies. I need to be devoted to the goals. I need to be devoted to the tools that have been set in place for me. So therefore, I can have successful weeks. Oh my goodness. So even in the midst of all that, you guys, reflecting, reflection questions, rephrasing discipline with devotion, knowing that I'm devoted to this thing. So now I look at it different instead of something like a punishment. Oh my goodness, I got to do this. But knowing that this thing stirs up my heart, stirs up my spirit. This is something I actually love doing. So I'm devoted to what it takes to get it done, right? I'm devoted to it. Whatever it takes to get it done, I am devoted to that. I also want you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I always tell my coaching clients in this coaching, you need at least 1 to 2 days a month of self care days. If you want more, okay. But you need days that you set aside for yourself. You need days to set aside, right? You need, and then when I'm taking care of myself, let me tell you what you need to do, you guys. You need to rest. You need prayer, reflection, creativity, and solitude. They are essential to your growth. I'm going to say it again. Rest, prayer, reflection, creativity, and solitude are growth essentials. And I'm talking about living life intentionally. These are things you have to implement in your life. I am big on rest. I get rest, but I'm not lazy. I get rest. I allow my mind to rest. Because some of us, our minds we don't never allow our minds to rest, and our minds is always all over the place. I need my mind to rest. I am more creative when my mind comes out from a restful state. So when I say, okay, I'm going to rest for a day or two, the next day, or if I go on vacation, boom, I come back, I'm ready to create some things. Why? Because I allowed my mind to rest. Okay? Rest, prayer, reflection. These things, they are essential to your growth. You got to slow down. You got to slow down. That's why I keep saying this. It's the third time. Sometimes some of us is busy, but we're not being productive. You're so busy that you don't even have time to take care of yourself. That's a problem. If you're so busy that you have no time to rest, if you're so busy that you have no time to reflect, if you're so busy that you don't even have time to spend time with God, there is a problem. There is a problem. And we have to have days. See, when I talk about self-care days, I'm talking about days when you unplug, when you step away. When you unplug, you may unplug from social media, you may unplug from people, and you literally have a day to yourself where you just relax. You relax. Let your mind relax. Let your heart relax. You enjoy yourself and your time. That's when you unplug. Some of us need to learn how to unplug because some of us don't. We just keep going. And let me tell you, when you don't know how to unplug, you would eventually meet up with burnout because you don't know how to unplug. And you don't want to meet up with burnout. You have to learn how to unplug. I have to unplug myself. It's time for me to go get rest and get myself together. I need to go get me together. Like I said earlier in this video, how can you pour from an empty cup? If you are not unplugging, if you're not resting, if you're not reflecting, if you're not doing the things you need to do, make sure that you're stable, you will begin to pour from an empty cup. So I encourage you on today, when we're living life intentionally, When we're living life on purpose for purpose, we have to be intentional about ourselves. Show up for you and do the things you need to do. So I pray that this blessed you on today. I pray this blessed you. I pray that you take these tips and you apply them to your life. And for those who are willing to take that 60 something day challenge, I didn't count the days out, and really be consistent in that one thing and willing to come back and tell me what happened after you was consistent faithfully over that one thing. I can't wait to hear from you. So I thank you guys for joining me for Fearless Friday. I thank you guys. I pray you guys have an amazing weekend. Hey, come and check me out tomorrow where I come with What's the Coffee. Oh my goodness. I'm always excited because I am moving through the book of Psalms and God is going to meet us on tomorrow to encourage us. So I thank you guys. For those who even this may be your first time joining my page, ask that you subscribe, set your alerts so that you don't miss me. Oh my goodness. So that you do not miss when I come live. So I thank you guys for the support. I thank you guys for in my chat. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all you guys. Have an amazing day. Be blessed.